All right, let's get this started. So I'm sure today is going to make a lot of people angry when I get to my power rankings at the end because I switched up how I'm going to do them for the pre-cap. But thank you for watching. This is going to be our minors season 9? Minor season 9 pre-cap. We're going to do all three divisions, Americas, mixed, and Europe. We're going to start with Americas. We'll probably do Europe next, then mixed, because mixed will let me talk just a little bit about their schedule since they have all their teams in right now. There are a couple teams I'm missing. I'm going to try to pull them as we go. I didn't get to look into them too much is the only big issue. So we will start with Americas. So, hello. That's not right. Rebel Americas. Okay. Game blew a fuse real quick. We're going to start with the one team that's not in there right now. So this is Halo's team. It's a Nurgle team. College Crunch sitting at 1,400 TV. He's got a really nice team built up at the moment. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it for a Nurgle squad. Hey, Swamp. It's got the block on the 3 Nurgle Warriors, which is what you're really looking for to get that team up and ahead. There is this one that's 2 SPP off. It has a Mighty Blow, Pastigore, Blitzer. It's got another Pastigore with block. You're not seeing a ton of Rotters on this team, which is a little unusual from what I've seen, but not a bad thing. He does have Kick, which I'm a big fan of. I want to impress upon everyone that. It allows him to drop the ball near the line of scrimmage. Hey, Murdy. Hey, Dimmy. Just so slow over VPN. Sorry. I like Halo's squad here. I think he has the potential to surprise some people. It's all going to depend on injuries and removals when it comes to Halo. Is he able to keep his big pieces up and ready? I believe this beast was somehow killed. Yeah, he did have a level 2 beast that was almost level 3, got armor busted. So I think Halo did the right thing, pulled the plug on it, got a new one in there. It's a really easy piece to bring back to build up nice and quick. It comes out of the box with basically everything you need. He's just missing the guard piece there, but it has the tentacles, it has the Mighty Blow, it has the foul appearance, so it's very easy to keep that piece up and running. Okay, so that was Halo's. We're going to run through the other 10 coaches. So one Nurgle, Kitakaze, runner-up from last season, is first. His team is at 17. It'll drop down to about 1670 when he burns off the extra cash up here. How long are we going? Hopefully I can get this all done within an hour is my goal. I really want to try to move through this quick. I got the 3 divisions and the power ranking. So this is the second place team from last season. Kitakaze's lost presidents, and it's a really nicely built team. You're seeing a lot of the guard spam, which some of the successful human teams have been doing. They get a lot of guard out there. He's got the piling on tackle, Mighty Blow. You're looking for probably a dodge here as well, just to keep him up a little bit more. So I like the Blitzer. It's one of the better Blitzers you're going to see in the league. Absolute stat freak of a thrower with the agi and move allowance up. Really unlikely to fail a pickup, which is nice for him. I'm going to talk about that with another human squad in this division as well in a little bit. He's got that big strength 6 ogre, so he's not going to be outstrengthed by everyone. This is a really solid team, and I expect them to find consistent results even in a very bash-heavy division because he has the pieces to compete. And he's got the strength up catcher that can kind of run anywhere he wants to and be this sacking, blitzing piece. You have the ogre that's able to take people up. A bunch of guard on your bashy pieces. This one here, his whole purpose is to run it with guard, essentially. If he can get block, I'd love it. But I think this is a really solid team. There's little that it's missing. You know, it's a very well-rounded, complete team. No thing on the stadium enhancements. We're going to move on to our second team, our Kislev team from Vorm, aka Veda. Another good-looking team. I think there's some pieces here that I'd like to shift around, but you see stats in the blitzers right off the bat. It's a really good blitzing unit. You'd obviously love to see Diamond-Headed get his piece as well, but block, agi, and strength up. Agi probably means more on Kislev than anyone else with the leap, because this now becomes a very reliable leap blitzer, meaning he can get in. He's going to need block. But I think with one SPP, that's likely coming down the pike. Not too hard to get. A touchdown on Diamond Headed gives him a level. I'd love to see some more catcher development. When we see our other Kislev team, Dr. Daka's team, you'll see what I mean by catcher development. It does make a big difference, but you have two pieces already with guard out of the linemen, which is a huge boon to a Kislev team. It allows them to take a little bit of that strength and push it up on them. Could you imagine strength for Agi 4 Blitzer for Kislev? I do not want to imagine such a nightmare. My team, real quick, I know I take some crap for not going into my team too much. There's not much to say. It's a very bland team. Basically block on everything. You have your dirty player, which is pretty standard for an orc. I do have the thrower because it has the Agi up. So Agi 4 thrower is really nice for orcs. It does have block on it. I'd love to get a dodge on it so it can be a blodge Agi up piece and basically no one could touch it. I do have 2 quasi killers developed. I would love to land a double on Blitzer. Oh, I'll check Vorms in a second. I don't think he had any. I would love to get jump up on this piece to make him really good. There is someone who has a piece like that I want to go into because I really like it. But you'll just start seeing guard and tackle spam come out on the rest of my pieces, most likely. I would love to be able to get tackle here. If not, I'm probably going stand firm. There's a very outside chance I go thick skull, and I know that's traditionally bad. But I use my troll as a soak. Basically, anyone can punch him. I don't give a shit. I've said multiple times, if he dies, he dies. I don't care about him dying. So maybe that's a good argument for me to just take stand firm. I don't know. I don't have anything. I'm likely going to get pushed into an upgrade soon because I'm very close. A lot of teams are very close on the gold cap is what you'll see. Vorms does not have anything up. Onto our next squad, Viscardis, who has 1450 as his team value. He's going to play, since he has 2 unleveled pieces, probably more at around 1500. I'm guessing you'll get a normal on one of them and a double or a stat on the other. Probably about 1500. Viscardis still has one of the best teams out there. He's got a fantastic record, 1201, got 1 loss that was kind of slapped Dimmy in a really surprising game. Had that 1-0 to awesome aim. 2-0'd Audrey. Just a lot of it was like, oof. He's had a really strong record as you look at it. Really, really good. I believe he has a weather dome. Nope, he's got security gate. So riot and pitch invasions are out of there. I like security gate. I know people try to take the rock a lot more. I don't think it's as good. I think this is kind of what you want to be getting, security gate. If you're surfing a lot, if you're like a frenzy team, you're probably going to want to get the beer stand or whatever it is that gives you +1 to stuff. I'm guessing there's some shenanigans going on here because it's not like Vis to sit on team or to sit on levels. He actually like openly said he doesn't like when people do that in the past. But we'll see what comes out of it. I'm interested to see. That will put him at a level 4 Saurus and a level 3 Saurus here. So he has a very, very strong squad, and I expect big things again from him this season. You might take the Wizard Stadium. Well, that is kind of a theme. There's some really high TV teams as we go through here. I'll touch on that as kind of a wrap-up thought on this when we get through all of them. On to Mr. T-Rex, a.k.a. PM Ziggs in Discord, Ziggs Price, I think it is, and his Norgard Warlords. He has a squad that is a little interesting. I actually got the chance to play him in the postseason punch-up. And I did not face the full force of his wrath because I basically took this piece off the entire game. He had it for maybe 2 turns. I think I got a blitz in the first half, and I knocked him out on turn 1, and then he had him, and I fouled him in the second half, and he was off on turn, like, 10 or something like that. It's a scary piece to have to go up against. It can just sit on people. It's got tentacles, so you can't dodge from it. It can blitz anywhere. The argument I've heard, and I've played a little bit of Chaos now, and I've watched a fair bit of Chaos, it absolutely eats all your blitz. So all this horn on Beastman becomes useless. Timmy's lamenting the AV8. But yeah, it's a really strong piece. You know, it's a very, very strong piece. It's not far away from another level, which, guard, maybe. Stand for, maybe. I'm not sure what you want. I think ideally you get a double, because I think you need double to get access to agility, yeah. But with the Claw Mighty Blow, it's already a lot of what you want. That is his Chaos Warriors are underdeveloped for sure. I forget how this happened to get here. if he was there when I played him, or if I killed somebody and he popped up. Because we had played here, yeah, and then he had a game. No, that was just a friendly or something. Yeah, I had the game against him there. He needs a little bit more out of this. There are 2 other Chaos teams I'm going to talk about. Yeah, the Tentacles helps it not eat the Blitz. Correct. Yeah, that's correct. That's true. That's very true. It can just sit on it. Doesn't have to have all of them. If he can keep kind of the game in front of him and bashing a bunch and not having teams spread out, I think he stands a good chance of tripping some people up with Tentacles. He's starting to get this guard out here all over the place, which is big. I think it's an okay team. I think it's going to struggle, especially in a very high TV division. I mean, I didn't talk about it too much, but Kit's at 1670. I'm at 1600. Viscardus is about 1500. 1490 here. Murderdash is at 1470. B. Hagen's at 1530. Like, this team is loaded with team value right now. So we'll see. I think he's gonna probably be middle bottom of the table, is my guess. Next coach, the Lone Undead Squad is RSM's Battle Me Roans, which is a conundrum to me. He's very, very confusing to me. He's at 1320. I had 1290. Oh yeah, 1290. Okay, sorry. He has extra cash to burn. He's at 1290 as a team value. He did lose Root and Tootin, which I wish he had done Root 10 TWO10, Root and Tootin. So he has to build him back up. He does have block on his other mummy. Whites are looking okay. It's a little underdeveloped as a squad. I really wish this had been a wrestle instead of a block on Gobblegook, because then he becomes a very potent sacker, can run in and try to strip the ball from behind, and he's already building up someone else as his runner, his main ball carrier. So I think that would be potentially where we'd want to shift things around. He does have another one with blocks, so we could see that shift in a heartbeat, especially because ghouls tend to have short lifespans with undead squads, but we shall see. Just level 1, no level 2, so nothing there for the enhancements. He did have 2 draws, so he has 3 wins. I just want to, I'm not calling anyone out here, but he's done pretty well down the last couple. He's drawn 1, kind of got rocked by Nuln, lost to me, lost to DK, drawn, lost, and this loss here was a concede. That was a concede, which was the big thing. You're surprised no puppies? That's because undead cannot have puppies. That is Necro you're thinking of. So RSM, I don't know what to think. He's got a big TV deficit to kind of make up, which may help him. He may be able to induce some big pieces that help him. But I'd love to see a little bit more developed big pieces. So we'll see how things go. But all the claw in this division doesn't help. Speaking of claw, Audrey's Under Oath squad. Sitting at 1390 for the team value, having lost a runner who was up here before. Audrey's in a good spot. She does have the 2 berserkers going exactly where she wants to. This level, I'm guessing, is going to be another pylon, and she'll probably run 2. I would love to see some guard throughout here, and I think that's where Audrey's going to struggle if she does. There's going to be a lot of strength deficits in this division. The Ulfs are nice to have, but you're running into Chaos squads who have 4 strength, 4 pieces, plus the option for a big man. An Orc squad that has 4 strength plus a big man. You have RSM Undead. You have a guard stacked Chaos Dwarf team. So I think you're going to struggle a bit more for Audrey here. I don't think she's unable to win in this division. I think she's going to have to be very much on her game at all times. Does boast a very strong record. Does not have any enhancement, but does have the level 2 stadium, so we could see that pop on at any time. I guess if this goes up any more than the 120 it's at, that's when you'll see an enhancement built there. Awesome Aim, last season's champion, I should say. A lot of strength up, a lot of guard. He played a very bashy game, and it worked for him. I worry about how AV8's going to hold up in this division, especially against Chorfs, especially against Chaos. they're able to absorb that strength deficit you're trying to create with the guard and the strength ups, and can probably just bash back. Now, I had mentioned earlier, we were talking about Kitakaze and how secure the ball was with sure hands plus agi. I worry about Aim's first game. I really worry because his thrower, the Jaff, is MNG'd, and that was his kick return, sure hands, block, pass. He's got to dedicate one of his other catchers to go and pick the ball up. So you're either sticking it on a 2+ and taking away guard, or you're sticking it on 2 strength or the 3 strength with guard. Neither of them have sure hands. AG3 is not great for picking the ball up. It's really not. So I could see him getting kind of caught out week 1 if his opponents capitalize on the fact that one of his catchers is probably going to be carrying the ball. I don't think he wants one of the blitzers carrying the ball. I could be wrong. Maybe he sticks it on Jekyll Black and lets Hood of the Clinic go and run out there. Or use the 5 SPP blitz to throw a pass for greed. Yeah, that's true. He could just try to vanity pass and level this up. But again, it hurts if you burn a reroll trying to pick that ball up because you don't have any sure hands and you're still sitting on AG3 across the board. I'm very mixed on this team. I think it's built to be a bash team, but it's missing a lot of the pieces of a bash team. I think going into some of the big ones, he's going to have some issues. I like the balance a lot more that you saw on Kitakaze's team. I think that has legs to run a bit longer. But he played a very strong game. His stats really don't show what he did last season. Like, his 9 wins, I think like 6 of them came in the last 7 games or something. And 4 of his losses were in like the first 5 weeks. So he's done a very good job of turning things around. We'll see if he can go. Next up, B. Hagen with Team West is the lone elf squad in the Americas. I really, really like this team. And it may not jump off the page initially as to why he does have to drop 10K just to keep this down to 1530, but that's quibbles. The block spam is starting to, the dodge spam is starting to come out here. He's got a lot of the block you need. I think this is a squad that's going to frustrate a lot of teams in the Americas division. It is going to be slippery. Tackle is not going to be as common outside of Murder Dash because there isn't a need for it. There's not a lot of blodgers, especially with just the raw stats here. Osmotaz Buckshank, so he immediately, I think, got back his Agi up piece that he lost earlier in the season. And that makes him a very natural carrying piece if he wants to use that in addition to Dan Smith. The two of them are just right there. And if you look across the board, he needs 3 here, 3 here, 2 here, 2 here, 3 here, 3 here. So it's like 6 pieces are a touchdown away. Oof. It is a very strong position to be in. There was, I think Logic was calling it out. You'd love to see some catcher development. They're right there, especially if they get someone who struggles with them week 1. So if you run into someone that we had talked about, like RSM, who needs a bit more development before he gets there, or maybe PM Zig with his Chaos squad, if you can stay away from the tentacles, you could just run circles around those squads, and I think they could be in a really good position to pick up a lot of quick SPP and then be developed to the point where people are struggling to keep up with the agility advantage you're going to see on Team West. Not a single strength 2 piece, part of the power of high L's once you can get developed. I am very, very high on this team. I really, really like their options moving forward. And the last team for Americas, Pangolin Madness, Murder Dash's Chaos Dwarf team, which came on super strong. And when you look at his last couple games, holy shit, the names he has beaten are crazy. 2-1 against the Rip Fang Sucky Boy, who is not playing this season. 3-0 against Audrey. 2-1 against BME. 1-1 against Joby Obi. 3-2 against Hubster. 2-0 against Slicksters. Kind of expected there. His last loss was 7 matches ago. Whew. Then he had 2 draws there. And these are all good coaches, too. Like, Murder Dash has the potential to shock everybody on this. I do not think we are going to see him as a favorite in the division, but I will throw this out here. I have 3 favorites from each division that I'm going to put up as my power rankings. So I tried to keep it balanced at first, and I'm doing best team. I'm not taking coach into account, just the best developed team. Murder Dash is my dark horse for the Americas. I have a dark horse for Americas, dark horse for Mixed, and a dark horse for Europe. I think Murder Dash is going to have to balance the bash and the ball movement. You have teams like Lizards that are able to get out and get running. You have your Chaos squads that are able to get out and move. Norse, very mobile squads. I really want to see how he balances both aspects of it. I could very easily see him being top of the league, but he's not in my top 3. Okay, he is just outside of it. I think it's not my top 3, but we will get to those later. All right, so that is America's. Matchup wise, I don't think anyone really needs the bye week 1. Anybody could be anywhere. We shall see. We will go on to Europe. I said Europe is next. We'll do Mixed last. For Europe, flip pages real quick in my notes. Starting with the Mighty Q, aka Toys R Us. Lizard Squad, he's done a tremendous job down the stretch, I want to emphasize, especially with a somewhat underdeveloped team. He does take break tackle on his Croxagore, which, hey, I guess he just didn't get the doubles that you needed. Not a terrible skill. It makes him much easier to get through and around stuff. This is a mobile Croxagore now. It's not fun to play against. You know, he's going to be able to blitz. He could potentially cage dive with his Crocs now, which is a spooky thing to say. He does have 3 leveled Sauruses. He's 2 SPP away from Subuteo Sword. Don't know that one. Furby needs a touchdown. Jengasaur needs an MVP or 2. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. I'm not used to that going off. He'd love to see a skink back. This is really playing at about 1430 team value when you get the skink back. I didn't check. I think it's just an MNG. Gouged that. Yeah, just an MNG, which isn't bad. He would love to get that piece back before he goes into it. The blodge step piece is really nice. He started to put sidestep. He's got a diving tackle. I would like to see what the other ones are, but I think they're just kind of reserves for now, and isn't as big in the run of things. So I like his squad. I think they're in a good position. Next up is the Soul Touchers with Gaustos. Just looking at his history, he's had some good games down the stretch. Drew Jimmy G, which is a big win for him, I think. Lost to Old Yella, which I'm not shocked. Old Yella's another team where I'm like, that guy can ball. Beat Drakajo, who's not playing this season, and drew against Halo, who, again, we talked about Halo. Goods team. Yeah, I mean, he's right in there with the rest of people. I think this record is deceiving. I think it probably should be like 7-1-5, but he's done a ton of growth. He does have the security gate, so Riot and Pitch Invasion off the table, so a very secure team for him. He can plan well. Now his team is one I like a ton. He does need to finish developing his Black Orcs and get them on. This needs to be the priority for next game to get that piece of level. He does have that dirty player piece, picks up a dodge lineman. Okay, to each their own. I like the kick return block piece for the thrower. It gives him the extra movement he needs in the first turn. That is very close to getting another level, which I don't know you necessarily want on the thrower. I'm not sure I'd keep this piece too long. I might restart a thrower or just bring in an extra lineman at this piece, or at this point. This may be the best blitzer in the league right now. I really, really like it. The jump up, Mighty Blow piling on with armor 9, he can afford to go into people really, really hard. Expect that piece to just explode as he uses it, and he does kind of the same thing I do, where he follows up with a lot of dirty player fouls. Even if he's going to lose the piece, he's like, whatever, I can afford it. He does need to drop a little bit of gold before he goes into it. He's starting to guard spam, tackle spam. He's got the other blitzer that he's going to use the kill piece. The only spot this team is lacking, I think, is on the Black Orcs. As soon as they're up, this is another team you just don't want to face. I'd arguably say this team is a little bit better than what I have going right now, and I think I have a very solid team. I just play a bit different with the big man than he does. Someone did mention Blood's dodge. You'd prefer guard, or excuse me, tackle. Block. What am I saying? You prefer block, so you get the blodge instead of just the dodge. I agree with you. I think there's a piece he's focusing on developing, and we'll bring that blodge piece in so he can just sit on the line in a lot of cases, which it's fine. I think he's in a good spot. And it's kind of the opportunity cost of, well, you got it. Is it going to work? We'll see. So we'll see. You know, it's one where he could probably make some plays with this if he needs to in a pinch. Next up, Yor in the Moldy Shamblers, our other Nurgle squad, who has had a bit of a go of it. He scared me thinking this was a dead Nurgle warrior. He's got most of his piled up down here. He does have a level 3 with block guard, which is really nice. Block is another fantastic one here. He does need to finish out on the last 2 Nurgle warriors. His Rotters are kind of in no man's land, and he's only got 1 leveled Pestigore. Excuse me, 2. He'll be getting this back. So he plays more about 1350 than at the 1240 that he's advertised that. So he's giving up quite a bit of team value throughout most of this division. We shall see. I like where he's starting. He did take Stand Firm first over Guard on his Beast of Nurgle. Not my favorite, but I think he manages with it for a little while. As soon as he can get Guard there, I think that Beast becomes very, very good. Or Block. Either one is phenomenal from a development standpoint. He just really needs to get these Nurgle Warriors up and running. And part of it will be, can he catch people? Because it's in a very dodge-heavy division in Europe. Europe is chock full of dodgy teams. You have none of the first 3, as I say that. Elven, Union, Human, Dark Elf, Wood Elf. I want to say there's another Dark Elf for Mute Mannequin. There's Amazons for Galacta, who's not on here. And then there's one other that I'm blanking on. I don't know who I'm missing there. But I think he may struggle to get some of the SVP he needs from hitting people, just because it's very hard to hit a lot of these dodgy teams. Old Yella, next up with the Everlorn Eagles. Someone who had a very rough season last season in college, but I think he really has the legs to get out and run. Had some of the toughest PSPU matchups I've seen. Like, when we get to Flipped is a monster. Audrey's no slouch. Gauss, as I just said, I'm very high on. I think he's going to do well. But he's still getting to where he needs to go. I'm not a tremendous fan of Fend on the Blitzer, but I think he may be doing some sideline play with him with the Blodge Step Fend, just so he can move around and prevent people from following him out there. He does have Mighty Blow on his other Blitzer, which is a phenomenal pickup that gives him kind of the kill capacity that he wants to bring. So Blodge, Mighty Blow, and Sidestep I really like. He's got a level 3 Catcher that brings Blodge, Catch, and Nerves of Steel, so that's a fantastic place to be in. He will be getting a Block Lineman back, so that will bring him up to about 5,100. It's a solid team. I think this is one that can get away with stuff from almost anywhere on the field. It's what you want to see. I just need to see how he plays against some other coaches. I really didn't get a good enough feel because I couldn't see as many of Old Yella's games in college as I saw of other people. But I think he could absolutely jump out and, you know, be middle to middle, top of the table in Europe for sure. I didn't check. Does he have? Yep, he's got a security gate as well. Oh no, he doesn't. Sorry, what was I seeing? He does not have a developed stadium. Excuse me. Next up, Hubster. People may have seen the 1200 and go, what the hell is going on with Hubster's team? That is drastically under what he'll be playing at. He does have 2 MNGs. This is like your candidate for absolutely needs to get week 1 bye out of anybody out there. Missing his level 3 Ogre, Barney Gumble, and Ned Flanders, which would bring out to about 1420. I think he's in a good spot. He has another one of those really spooky blitzers that is, you know, block, tackle, mighty blow, piling on, jump up. The only thing, the reason why I said I like Crumpty better than this, it's just the armor value. If you are piling on and not protecting him, you get an extra 1. But level 5 is really impressive. It's a piece that is way up there and not drastically far off. I mean, that's 19 points. That's pretty doable over the course of a couple games if he's really focusing on getting in the stuff. You do see a lot of that guard spam come out, as we talked about with human teams. It's fantastic. It really helps them a ton, kind of neutralize the strength stuff. He does have that strong arm, accurate thrower. He is close to leveling up as well. It shouldn't be too much before he gets that leveled. I love Mo, the catcher over here. It's a weird thing to say, but he's a really good ball sacker because he comes in with Dauntless on top of Wrestle, so he's able to go out and throw himself at people, hope that the the Dauntless procs regardless of whether it's a strength 3 or a strength 4, and he's usually able to get someone down with just what he has. I'd like to see Strip Ball come out on him, but like it's not a terrible spot to be in. It's a really effective piece for 1100,000. You know, for 110, it's not a bad piece to have. Yeah, it's right where it's at. You'd love to see an extra piece here or there. If not, I think Hustler is going to really hate his week 1 opponent, whatever it happens to be. But it's a team that has some legs to run the division for sure. This one is one of the... It's kind of like America's where anyone can win. Mixed has a cast of characters that I really think probably has a bit more solidified area, but that's cool. Take care, Hagen. We'll see you later. And we'll have recap next week after week 1 is settled, as I have been told that things should be going this week for everything. Next up, Lava Lamps and his Orc Variety squad. Played Lava Lamps. He's an interesting coach. That's all I can say. We did a 1-1 draw. That's correct. It's hard to say with him, man. He was all over the place and a very interesting person to play. Black Orc needs a level here. He did take dodge on his one Black Orc. It has paid off so far. He just needs another touchdown or 2 injuries or an MVP to get Blodge on there, and that's super important for him. Only 2 guard. I'd love to see like an extra 4 guard on him right now, but not in too bad a spot. No tackle. He is going to struggle against a lot of these dodgy teams if he's not careful. But as soon as he can get some of that tackle up, he can start moving those pieces around a bit more efficiently and preventing orcs from just running through them. He'll be in a great spot. But I think he will take a little bit of a punch on the chin in his first couple weeks. He's very fast and loose when I played him. Like, he was just blitzing through my line. You didn't miss mix. We're doing mixed last, BME. So Lava Lamps, I think, is going to be okay. I think he's probably middle of the table, all things said and done. 6-3-4, good record, you know, not terrible. But I think he's going to get very frustrated early in the season trying to catch people, unless he plays someone like Gruffbar Zuffbar. Troy Tempest Dwarf team, which I absolutely love. Like, anytime you have 5 guard already on your squad, beautiful. Coming in about 1390 TV. I think he wants to probably get rid of this Longbeard sooner rather than later, as he does have the cash to rehire him. Everything just looks great here. You know, he's got a Blodge Blitzer, he's got a guard Mighty Bow Blitzer, his runners got tackle and wrestle. So this is usually what you're going to do with your runners. The first one, you do want to have block out there. Your second one, you do want to be able to use as a safety or kind of that like ball strip piece, essentially. He's built it beautifully. This is quintessential dwarf right now. Yeah, there's not many teams that are going to outstrength him. As dumb as that sounds with lizards in the division, he can just stack all these Longbeards together and you can't touch them. So we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited. I like Troy's squad a ton. I think they're going to be very good, especially with all the tackle, like we just talked about. He has all the tackle. He can trip up a ton of elves as long as he's playing good defense. And I took a quick look at his history just to see what was happening. Yeah, guard, mighty blow, and stand firm is the holy trinity for dwarves. Simple as that. He's got a couple games that I don't recognize. Lost to some lizards, lost to Hubster, lost to BME, but once he starts getting back into it, he's done pretty darn well against Agi teams. This is a Necro squad. His big struggle has been Bash teams, which for him isn't, you know, it's not going to be as big a thing. The Edgy Speedies Joby Obi did beat Troy, but I think Joby's a really good coach too, like really good. So I like that a ton. I think his dwarfs are going to be just fine in this division. I don't think he has much to fear from almost anybody out there, and he could really be the one that kind of throws down the gauntlet. Next up, Joby Obi and the Edgy Speedies, his 1590 Dark Elf team. It's a beautiful squad. It's basically blodged up through the blitzers. Its runner does have a dodge dump off, which again, you can totally use that, not an issue. Really like that he's managed to get the mighty blow on the witch elf already. I forget if that's standard access or doubles. That is doubles. So yeah, that's a fantastic level very early. Expect this piece to explode, especially when you need just one more injury for level 3, and that's probably where you'll see block come in, and it gets really, really oof for everybody else in the division. This is probably my favorite elf team throughout the entire division in Europe right now. He does have kick. He does have the rookie witch elf, so if we can get that level 2, I think they're in a good spot. This is the team that has the foundation to make a really good run with a couple of levels. I think Jovi's going to do phenomenally as well, as we see things. Squig Sandwich Kiosk, one I do not like. So he does have the level 2. It does cancel out Throw a Rock and get the ref. I think it's a little too pixel huggy for me to get this. Throw a Rock and get the ref could really happen to anybody. I think for him, having a bribe actually helps him in a lot of cases. We'll see, though. I'm just not a tremendous fan of Squig Sandwich Kiosk. I would much prefer the security gate to prevent the riot and everything else. You had a bad experience with the Rock. I remember you barely cheesing that game out with the Rock thrown at him. Next up, at 1570, Focused and the Greenwald Packers, the Lone Wood Elves in the division. Lots has changed here. He has brought in Forrest, the Tree Man. He has I believe there's a niggle on Orin. Yep, there's your niggle. And then he has a niggle on his catcher, Marquez. I'm very back and forth on this team. Half of it I love, half of it I hate. He brings that strength up lineman Pharaoh, which hasn't done anything since he got that strength up. He's just kind of sat there the whole season. But it was a team that was very maligned by injuries throughout the course of the division. He barely had 6 players, I think, at one point. He now does have pretty close to a one-turner. Because that's going to be 11. Yeah, he's like a space off from a one-turn with Devontae here. Sure hands. He's got sprint. I'd love to see sure feet come out if he's going to try to use that as much. Blodge and catch. This piece of it gets a couple spaces forward and isn't marked. It scores a touchdown on turn 2. And it's very easy to do with him. And I like it, especially if you got to move up. It gets to a really good spot. He does have the guard piece in lane. All the pieces are starting to form for Focused. I worry so much about Orin as a war dancer. I think that is your team potentially imploding with the niggle, and I'd love for him to save up enough to trash it and then get an additional piece. I really would love to see him get rid of it, get the new war dancer as soon as money allows him to, because he's finally up to 12 players. I think he's finally solid and stable, and he'll be in a good position to move. Okay, so let me check real quick if I can find the other Euro squads that are here and supposed to be here. Let me see. Glocked is one of them. Meat Mannequins, another one of them. I think Lone Scrub is the last one. Does that sound right to anybody? Just looking at who else it could be. I think that's it. So we're going to roll with it and pretend that that's what the last 3 teams are. Let's stop sidestep. Shadowing, maybe. I don't know. So, here is Glockta's 1449ers. This is a little bit of juggling windows for me at the moment. Grab, that's true. Thank you. Forgot about Grab. It's just not one I've seen picked up a ton. So, Glockta does have Elf Turf. So, this is a upgraded stadium very early on. He is bringing 1380, so on the low side, which is pretty common for Zons from what I've seen. They don't need a bunch. They have that nice piling on Mighty Blow Tackle Blitzer. You bring a Agi Up Blitzer as well. Very nice pieces that can kind of be the platform for the offense to run through. 2 guard, which you're absolutely in love seeing. Strength Up Catcher is dirty. Man, this is a good squad. Like, looking at it, I really like the squad. Another guard piece. The line women just kind of sit there and there's a couple pieces they can take there, but it's not a huge threat in any way, shape, or form from the linewomen. I think he'll be in a good spot. He's a very good coach. He's been a little inactive lately, so I think he'll need to knock some of the rust off. But especially with other L's, it's just like you're running a little bit slower L's with skills everywhere. So he needs to make his impact early and then see if he can rely on some of these strength pieces to knock out some of those L's for him. As I take a drink, because I haven't done this in months and my throat's dying. Meat Mannequin is next up. Deep Web Edgelords. Idelfin is injured. I think it's an MNG. Just an MNG for the next game. So he's bringing in about 1430 cash. Our 1430 TV, no upgraded stadium. Nice blitzer there with the Agi up. Agi 5, Blodge is filthiness. He has another piece that is developed for guard. Not a ton to talk about. Not a ton to talk about here. I think Meat's a good coach. I watched some of his games. May have the best and worst team motto out of anyone out there. Yeah, not a ton to say. I think there's some development needs here that are going to run pretty deep. He's not among my favorites. I think he's a solid coach. I think with how other teams are built up, he's got some work to be done. Let me just confirm my last coach here from Europe so I don't pull up the wrong person and go in depth on somebody who's not even there. Galactic Mighty Hula, Detroit Tempest, Robiobi. Who am I missing? Hubster, Focus, Galactic, Your, Mighty Hula, Avalanche, Detroit Tempest. That might have been everybody. Yeah, they're just missing 2. Okay, so it's not Lone Scrub. So Lone Scrub's not playing. Interesting. That's one I would have liked to have seen back. Okay, so that is it. So my top 3 for Europe. And this is where people might not agree with me across the board, but I think I don't think I listed my top 3 for the Americas. We'll hold off on that. I'll give you just my dark horse. I think my dark horse is focused. So the Greenwald Packers, and I'm very high on Woodell's. I think they do tremendously well, especially in a division where he can get his breath, get his feet under him because there's not as much bash and destruction as some of the other divisions. I think he could come away a major winner in the grand scheme of things. So I really like Focus chances as a dark horse to run the table and claim a advanced spot moving forward. All right, we're about 41 minutes in, so I'm going to go into mixed, which does have everyone there, so we'll be able to talk about everybody. We'll be able to look at their schedule for week 1 a little bit, and then go into the quick power rankings, which are absolute trash this week because who the hell knows? So going into our teams, first up is Cartoon Carl with the Edgy Boys. Dark Elf Squad rocking out at 1220, which is going to play more at about 1360 with Loners. He's done a good job building back from just getting obliterated, is the only way I can put it. He brings Leap in. He has the Mighty Blow on the Witch Elf. He's got a level 4 Blitzer that survived somehow through all the terrifying trauma they've absorbed, but does have the Blodge Step Tackle, so a very good piece at moving around and manipulating where they are on the board. Does have guard on one of the linemen, which is very nice to have. Kind of a luxury at this point. A Niggle Kicker, which I think is kind of the story of everything. Anyone with kicker is about to die a horrific death. In his recent games, he's played some good coaches and either drew or kept him close. I think he's able to survive in this division. I think there's a lot of other coaches that are going to really push him to his limits. That was a Leap Blitzer. Yes, it was. So we'll see how that moves as we go forward. Next up, Jim's Rats. WM Miranda, a.k.a. Jim, is playing at 1430 with his Rats. When he gets his M&Gs back, he's probably playing more at about 1580. Really, really good team. He plays well with these killers. They are in a tremendously strong spot. His runners, his big gutter runners, basically his 2-1s. He's got a really nice ball carrier, a really nice dodger. He's got a second backup blitzer and sacker if you need it, and then kind of just expendable everything. This line here basically draws a line between what he cares about and what he doesn't care about. So all of these are here just to absorb stuff. This is where he plays from. So I think he has a very strong spot to make a run. He had basically one misclick in the playoffs that cost him everything. And I think he's going to be in a really good position come the end of the league. I think he is one of the better coaches that's out there. Yeah. Next up, Little Hands, a.k.a. Boone, with his Dino Riders. I was an America's Seas coach, so I know him decently well. And it's a pretty meat and potatoes lizard team. Can't say a ton out here. Does have 4 block. Needs to finish up the last 2, which he's very close to. Then not a ton of development on the Skinks. He does have a catch piece, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's out there. Sidestep with jump up, and then sidestep. So out there with it. His Crocs just has guard, which fine level to pick up first. I think it's in a good position. Probably gets stand firm next unless he gets his block piece there. And yeah, he played well in Detroit. Got beat by Halo, lost there. Yeah, so pretty crazy little back and forth with him. I have no idea what to think of him. He's a good coach, but no idea what to think of him. Our Euro crossover for mixed, so one or two coaches making it the mixed, is Halligan, a high elf team at 1400 TV. I'm a little less bullish on this as opposed to Behagen squad. There's still a lot of work to be done here. You do have the Blodge catcher, which is a nice piece to have. Your thrower is accurate. I think, is that a dump off? Safe throw. Okay. Sorry, still learning all the passing skills because work coach, don't do that. Does have the strength up lineman, which we'll see. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a lot of TV, and he's not going to be too supported in a lot of his stuff. So we'll see how it plays. I like the agi up on a lineman as opposed to a strength up on a lineman for high elves. The rest of his linemen are kind of fine there. 2 blitzers. They have more blitzers, right? I feel like there should be more blitzers on the squad. I feel like we're missing a blitzer or 2. I might be wrong, but that's where we're at. I think he does fine. I think he occupies kind of a unique niche. But at 4.42 last season, it's pretty true to what he was up to. Struggled there. Blew out Halloween Havoc, or came close with Halloween Havoc. That was Bogatir's squad. Yeah, he's done pretty well. Drew Toys R Us, which is nice to see. So I think he'll make a decent little run. I think he's probably middle of the table when all things are said and done. Next up, Dimmy G, which was Euro A's champion last season. I keep saying year. It's not been a year. At 1490, this is greedy chaos, is how I have to put it. And that's kind of, if you watch Dimmy play, he likes taking some risks, which, hey, I'm a fan of. He's got a Blodge goat. He brings in a Mighty Blow strength up goat that is desperately needing block as soon as it can. All of his Chaos Warriors that have hit level 3 have gone Mighty Blow or strength up. And I'll show you what I mean when I move forward, Dimmy. There's another team in here I want to contrast yours with. This works as long as it survives to level again. If someone manages to take it out, to injure it, to foul it off the field, each individual piece. Exactly, Keith. You're exactly, nail on head there. What I'm trying to say. It's a very high risk, high reward strategy. You're making Dimmy take guard in clan. That's kind of what I'm getting at, but you'll see. I think Dimmy's a fantastic coach. I think he goes a long way again. He just had a nightmare of games, in a row. 2-0 to Vis, 1-0 to Kit, knocked off Glock to 2-0. I think that was a friendly. I think he was trying to practice for something. 2-1 with me. Yeah, there's just a lot where you're looking at it, it's like, oof, just, wow, really? Is that a practice game? But yeah, so Dimmy, we'll see. I don't think he's played this team in a while. He's been a ton of CCL games. Like, I swear, the guy, I've never seen anyone play as much CCL as he does. I think it was like someone popped on last night. It was like 11 o'clock his time last night. And he's like, yeah, just on the couch. I was like, I could play another game. It's like, God, just go to sleep. I think Dimmy does really well. I could see his team also imploding. That's the only way I can put it. Because they're such individually high value pieces, each loss hurts a ton more than if you lose just a guard piece. It's like, it's one guard piece, whatever. But losing a strength up Mighty Blow, it's like, oh, those hurt a lot. So we'll see what happens. Dinos for Sotek. This is Gebro's squad. That's a niggle there. That's a move bust there. So some battle-scarred lizards here. I like his team. I think it's going to be another kind of middle-of-the-road team. There's nothing to shout about there. Had a pretty solid season, 5-1-5. Anytime you're going about 500, you're in a good spot there. Don't know who that was. 2-0 to Ripped. 2-1 over Kit. That's a really good result. 1-0 against Swamp. Yeah, solid stuff. He's played against a lot of good coaches. So we'll see. This is an America's A squad for sure. Whoops, way too far back. I like him. I think he'll be okay middle of the table. Right now I'm thinking Jim and Dimmy are probably our top of the table ones right now. You got middle, bottom, depending on how Carl develops. It's just hard to see because his team's so busted up still. BME, I think, is going to be the surprise of mixed right now. And you're going to see similar, not as developed as Dimmy, but I think it has the potential to go really, really far. He does have both a ball-carrying Beastman, and if he can get block on this, a blood strength-up Beastman, which is disgusting. Has a lot of block thrown out here. He does have Mighty Blow, so he has his blitzing Beastman set up for himself. He picked up his guard on the first one. So this is, depending on how you have things set up, I think you could have a pretty strong line. He needs to get some of these levels. He did a good job coming out of postseason punch-up with those levels just to get the block. It was a bit farther behind because he had so many draws. He kind of had a rough time getting that going. He got a lot of skulls, which hurt him in America C, and some good coaches. I think, especially coming out of America C, there was a lot of random development because there were more buys than any other division. So a lot of the coaches couldn't place their SPP through playing as much. But he does have dodge, sure hands, strength up. This block will be kind of important to his development. If you can get a block here with a touchdown, the touchdown gets you to 31. You get the block. You're then on Blodge, sure hands. Next level, you can go with the mutation. Oh, you didn't get the second buy. That's correct. You had to actually play Andrew the Banker. You could get a mutation and get 2 heads here if you want to make the dodges even better. So it could be a really strong piece to play out of. This could develop into anything, kind of just a utility Swiss Army knife if you want to. But I like this. I think it's a good squad. I think he used to have a minnow, or he was thinking of a minnow, and it's not there anymore, which I agree with. I don't think the minnow's as useful on a Chaos squad as you'll see with others. Get some diversity in your Chaos Warriors helmets, though. Come on. No enhancement built, but on level 2, which is nice. I think BME goes really far, actually. I like him a lot. Dr. Daka with 11 crazy Russians. Took a bit of a mutilation when it came to his postseason punch-up game against Flip Toast. The Thunderhead Balrogs, which is a tremendously skilled team, which is going to be scary. Very spooky as things come out. I am going to say, I was checking my notes real quick. Yeah, Vladimir Putin, really good spot. Rasputin, really good spot. We talked about Vorm's team. This is kind of the foil to it. Now, he does bring the bear, which, like, rocket development on the first game, but hasn't done much since. Mr. Snuggles has been pretty quiet. He does have this combo between his blitzer and his catcher that are phenomenal. He lost the catcher. I think he's building him back up. Another blitzer here. He had a lot of losses, though. He's going to need to rebuild probably a bit of a bench down to about 13 is my guess. And he doesn't have the bank to do it. So he's going to have a couple games where he needs to really get it. The bye would be nice for him because you get the double winnings rewards. If you did get the bye week 1, I think he'd be ecstatic. I forget who has it, though. Nope, it's Swamp Mist. Okay. Speaking of Swamp Mist, on to the Moonlight Riders and his Necro squad. It needs to drop a ton of cash, so this drops him down to about 1,500 even for team value, and he's got a nice little team developed here. I know he had mentioned some frustration when it came to some of his results down the last couple games, and I can agree with him. I think he's got a really nicely shaped team with a couple ifs, ands, or buts there. The Blodge Werewolf is great. Needs the extra 10 SPP to get Mighty Blow, and then this thing is a terror. There's a couple skills, and it's very easy to see the development of this. You get Mighty Blow, you get Piling On, you get Jump Up. 1, 2, 3, boom. That's what I was going to go on to next. The Unskilled Werewolf is kind of what he's been griping about for a while. Mighty Blow's a double. Interesting. So that's probably going to be Jump Up first and then Mighty Blow or something like that. There could be a lot of stuff that goes. Tackle would be another good one. I think this will happen at some point. You could get very lucky in week 1 since there is the bye and get this level just off an MVP. There may be an argument with all the cash he has to fire some zombies to try to target SPP on the core of his team, which is a valid tactic. You know, he doesn't need to drop any of this cash right now because he's going into a bye week. He could fire 1, 2, 3, 4, keep his mini fleshy over here, and see if he could just chunk SPP into the other 9 pieces that he has and he likes and he's developed. This ghoul is phenomenal. The Blodge Agi up is one of my favorite pieces on his entire team. And I like that he's kept just one ghoul. They tend to be targets, but it's he's doing it right now. You know, it's easy to protect one piece. It's hard to protect 3 or 4 ghouls or 2 ghouls. But he gets to run around with this piece that's very hard to take down. It's the only piece without regen, so you need to protect it a bunch. And it's in a good spot to be a ball carrier for a while until you can develop a werewolf to take that position. I think this is probably your killer werewolf. You develop one as a carrier werewolf, and you're fine for the future when you do lose that ghoul, because it's going to happen at some point. 2 is the max for Necro. Good to know. I was thinking of Undead. I'm more familiar with it. I really like Hyuga. I think it's a good kill piece in development. God, your weeb names are so hard to say. This is the other white with guard is fantastic, is what you want. Both fleshies have block, which is exactly what you need right now. Guard should probably be the next one if you can get it on them. The mini fleshy down here is a nice piece to have as well. Kind of just adds, and you can have a wall of strength 4 if you need. Just keep the ghoul as the carrier if the wolves, as the carrier want the wolves to fight. Yeah, I agree with you. I just think for the short term, this is going to be a target. This is, and you have to do a really strong job protecting that ghoul if you want to bring him forward. So, yeah, no, I like this team. I think this has very high potential to do very well on this division, especially with the Claw. The early Claw helps him a bunch. Decade could be the most annoying piece in the division. Flip Toast on the Thunderhide Balrogs. I love this team. I absolutely love this team. There are a couple small things here or there. Obviously, Norse block across the board. He does have the Mighty Blow and the guard on Lil Puffle already, his Yeti. He does have Blodge on his first Berserker. He has the Mighty Blow piling on his second. The Ulfs aren't as developed. They both have block, though. One does have an AV bust. I think you can keep that just fine at AV7 for a while. If you're Norse, you're used to stuff dying. The other one does have Blodge, so that'll be his nice piece to stick there. Brings in a little bit of his guard, couple fends. He does have the runner in here that's completely unskilled, unleveled. His other one is out. So when this piece comes back, this team, you take off the 30 from the 180, so you're down about 1620, then add on 130, you're at 1750 as a team. That's phenomenally high, so he's going to have a lot of people inducing into him in games. But yeah, this is a really interesting team. Like one of my favorite teams in the entire league right now, the entire minors. I think he's going to do very, very well. And you look at his history, he's been smacking people. 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. 2-0, 0 to draw against Shadow Player. 2-1. His last loss was 9 games ago against Toys R Us Mighty Q. That's crazy. Glockto, welcome. You got to accept your ticket, by the way, in Euro. I'm watching you. But yeah, we are almost to the end right now. We've been on for just shy of an hour now. You could probably drop more than just 2 Swamp Mist, looking at what you said. You could probably drop all the way down to just those 9 players, and then go and hire them with how much bank you have and how much kill potential you have. Yeah, it's kind of shocking looking at this that Flips didn't make playoffs. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. He took that 2-0 early on to Bogatyr, but an 8-3-2 team didn't make playoffs from the mixed division. What a crazy record to not make playoffs for this team. Like, I think this team is probably a top 6 team right now, barring any injuries in the season. This team goes a very long way in this division, I think. Last but not least, hiding. Yeah, I think I agree with everyone in chat. Swamp, I think you drop all 4 rookies. You have 220, you're going to get double winnings. You could come out with 300 to 350 gold after this game. Just nuke everything and then build it up afterwards. You're not losing anything. The Haggrave Hellions, Sacred Resnor's Dark Elf team drops a little bit here, and they'll be at 1510 going into the season. Needs a level on the runner, so it'll probably actually stick at 1530. All said and done, decent squad. Just one Witch Elf to talk about right now. It does have the runner, which I'm not a huge fan of, but whatever. Does have 2 guard pieces. Some of these blitzers are starting to stack up quite nicely with the Blodge tackle piece here. Blodge. So yeah, it's kind of standard development from what you're seeing. Does take Wrestle on the Witch Elf. I'm trying to figure out when he lost, or if he had another Witch Elf. I really would have liked to have seen block as opposed to wrestle there. But things being what they are, that's where they're at. He's had Witch Elf. I was like, okay, he's lost a lot of Witch Elves. That makes sense. Slapped your 3-0, 1-1, 1-1, 2-0 against Halo. He really likes playing Nurgle. Like, he really likes playing Nurgle. Dropped the game to Swamp, dropped the game to Kit. Good coaches, dropped the game to good coach. Like, there's a lot of good losses there. 4-0, wow. That was against Rats, too. 3-0 against Wood Elves. Man, this team looks like it's been obliterated at some point because how big he wins. He should have like 100 stuff up there, man. That's craziness. He is 1 point away from a level 4 blitzer here. He'll have a level 3 runner. I don't know, man. Resnor's a question mark to me. A very big question mark to me. I think he could do well. I've watched his games. He is very aggressive, and it makes sense why he scores 4. That's crazy. That is unbelievable to me. He is still rocking just 2 rerolls over 11, 12 games? 13 games. Wow. Man. Okay. That is absolutely absurd to me. But that's where we're at right now. My dark horse for mixed is absolutely BME. I think he comes out and smacks some people and surprises people who think, you know, that's the Mimi. He's the draw champion of the world. But I think he's going to absolutely get some people this season. Week 1 is already set. So we talked about Swamp is going to have the admin bye here. Daka and Flipped have the replay. So they played the last game in postseason Punch-Out. They're playing again week 1. Hard to say. It just depends on injuries. I think that's every Norse game ever when it's low AV to low AV, and there's a lot of Kislev bullshit going on, which I now hate Kislev. That's a new thing. But I think it could be just as easy a 1-1 as a 3-0 for either side. Real good week 1 game here for BME, I think. Dark Elves are annoying, but I think BME still has the tools to face them now as opposed to later. I think he's going to be in a good position. Carl versus Gebro for Dinos for Sotek. I am it's about as good as a matchup you could have hoped for as Carl. There's a team that hasn't developed like crazy so far. It has been Gebro's Dinos for Sotek, but you're still playing Indosaurus. So we'll see. I think Carl's been doing well, surprising people. I like this is probably a draw. I think both coaches managed to get 1-1, or 1-1 out of this, and move forward. This is absolutely the game of the week and the one I want to watch the most. Dimmy G versus Jim Miranda. I think the lack of tackle on the Cursed Cowboys leads to Jim going either 2-1 or 2-0 against Dimmy. Jim is really good at playing at strength disadvantages. He's basically done it his whole career. You've not seen someone play as much rat as this dude has played. I think he manages to win this one. And I think it's going to frustrate Jimmy a lot, too. Because it's going to be one of those games where Jimmy will play well, don't get me wrong. But I think Jim's just going to out-rat bullshit him. And that's all that's going to happen. Smoked and Cured and Dino Riders. I probably like Dino Riders in this one. I probably see it as a draw, to be honest with you. But if we're going to pick a winner, I'm going to say Dino Riders. Okay, so there we go. Those are the divisions. I will give you my dark horses once more, and then I will talk my power rankings. So my American dark horse is Murder Dash with his Chaos Dwarves. My mixed division dark horse is Wandering BME with his Chaos Squad. And my European dark horse, which is probably the hardest dark horse. I like all of them in that division. is focused with his Wood Elf squad. Now, my top 9, I basically took my top 3 from each division. This will change. We'll probably, once the season has started, week maybe 2, maybe 3, I'll get a better handle on it. We're going to go top 8, which is mirroring a playoff system. Maybe I'll keep it top 9. We'll keep it top 9. For right now, it's just who I think has the best developed team. Nothing at all about the coaches. Nothing at all about previous results. Purely about which team has a better developed team. You're saying 11 UTC on Saturday is Jim and Dimmy, I'm guessing. Is that 11 a.m. or 11 p.m.? I guess it's probably 1100 UTC. Really? That seems really early. That'll be when Rap Bullshit commences. That's correct. So number 1, out of all teams in all divisions, I am a one-trick pony. So I am going to go back to Viscardis's Predatory Pocket Monsters. I still think this is like the team to beat. I think this has developed a strong team, and this is without 2 levels that we haven't even seen. 11 p.m., so 2300 UTC is when Jim and Dimmy are playing. Okay. I really think this squad is going to be strong. It has everything except the 1 level here, which he lost like a game ago. So this will be caught up very quickly, and for Alligator will be in a good spot to push forward, I imagine. But having a level 4 and a level 3, in addition to 2 Blodgesauruses, it's a frustrating, good team to play. You know, you have to pow fish against a lot of these unless you have tackle. You have to find a way to survive the onslaught as you're now having increasing strength skills come in. Really, really good team there. Jumping to mixed for my number 2 overall team on the power ranking, I like Jim's Rats. I like the Skaven coming out of here. Basically everything above the line matters, everything below doesn't. Everything up here is on the skills or is like a skill off from what you want to being a very terrifying team. Even missing a gutter runner for game 1, it doesn't matter, I don't think. You know, you can go into that no problem and feel really comfortable with where you're going if you're playing on this Rat squad. It looks really good. You can tell exactly what each piece does, and you have a ton of soak down here. You know, as a 15-player team, even missing 2, it's still on 13, still has a bench. It's a spooky team. I like it a lot. I think it's good. Number 3, we're going to Europe. This is probably where people start getting mad at me. I like Joby Obi and the Edgy Speedies. It is still a little slim for my taste. I would like some additional skills, but I think this team explodes this season, especially against other L's and very dodge-heavy teams. If he can manage to pick off some of those big strength teams, I think he ends with maybe a loss or 2 in this division. And he doesn't have some of the big names that were spooking him last season or that he kind of struggled with, because he really played, you know, a ton of strong games, and you know, he kind of tripped over his own feet at the line. But you know, 2 games against the same guy is a little rough. But he's a really good coach. I expect him to do very, very well. And he's got a good team. Good team. 4th overall, we are going back to mix as I keep hopping around. I talked ad nauseum about this team, so I'm not going to belabor it too much more. Thunderhead Balrogs, Flip Toast. I love this team. Like, I cannot stress it enough. I really, really like where this team is going. I think Flipped has been playing probably at the best out of almost any coach I've seen recently. I said it's just about the team, and I stand by that team alone. I think he has one of the best teams out there. Add on the layer that I think he's going to coach well too. I think I could even push him higher in my next rankings once we see some results from him. But I really like this squad. Only thing I might drop is the 4th reroll, but he's using it. He's kicking it, so we'll see how it goes. Next up, we are back to America. For the Americas, Kitakaze is my number 5. Probably should be higher on the whole. I just underrank humans in general, I think. But it's just everything you want. You know, the guard spam is starting to come out really nicely. Great injury killer blitzer. The ogre is this huge force in the middle. You have that stat freak of a thrower. He's in a great spot. You know, Blodge on the catcher. His other catcher is a wrestle dodge with strength up. Like, it's just disgusting how good it is. So I really think he's going to sit up there. Harsh from an org coach, but fair. Yeah, I think this is another one. Once we start seeing play develop, again, America's A, I think, is the wood chipper division of the league this season. I think this might be the hardest division right now, but I think he stands a really good chance there moving forward. Number 6, we're going back to mixed. So all 3 of mixed coaches will have been in at this point. Well, with Dimmy G's team, Dimmy's team, it's terrifying, and if I were him, worrying at the same time. You can see how 2 key injuries, implodes the team. Because then you just have a bunch of Mighty Blow Chaos Warriors without the strength up. You have an AG down Beastman already. So we'll see where it goes. I still like his squad. It's just, he needs to develop some pieces very, very quickly. And he's not tremendously close to any breakpoints. I think here is probably his next one, but that's still a block piece. That's before we even get to a guard piece. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff this needs, in my opinion. A lot of stuff this needs, but I still think it's in a good position. Swamp, I agree with you. I almost picked you as a dark horse. It was between you and me for the dark horse. This is another close one. I think there's a pretty clear division here in my mind, at least, of who kind of the top coaches are and who kind of mid-table is going to be. There's not really any bad coaches here. I think, if anything, the only reason I pick on Carl is because his team's been decimated and he's playing into some really developed teams throughout. So he's going to have a rough go of that. Resnor's another coach I like, but I think I need to see some more development out of his team first. Europe, this is kind of a homer pick, but I really like his odds. Hey, Glockto was in there. Nice. I like Gaustos in this division. Gaustos has done a good job getting these tackle guard pieces early. All of these Agi teams are going to struggle against the strength and the tackle that he's bringing. He has the removal threat. He has a good carrying piece with the kickoff return block already. I think teams are going to struggle if he can maintain positioning. But from a team standpoint alone, I like this. I'm not in love with the missing Black Orc blocks here. But that aside, I think he's developed his team well for this particular division to do tremendously well. Staying here, I'm throwing Troy with Gruffbar Zuffbar up there as well. This team is going to be a traditional dwarven meat grinder to play against. Troy takes my number 8 spot because looking at this, I don't know who really wants to play him. I don't know if there's a coach in Europe that's like, this is the squad I want to play right now. Can you beat him? Absolutely. Dwarves are slow. They can be run around if you're good, or get them out of position, or they have some bad dice. But if he can maintain his shape, if he can get out ahead of players, and he can force you to try to run one piece through and then hit you with his runner safety, he's going to be rough to play against, and he's got a ton of strength with all these guard pieces spammed around. The 4x8 AV weak point you're talking about, so that's something that we brought up in our clan discussion. We were talking about it. I don't hate AV8, especially because it's hard to get down dwarves as is. His blitzers are both the AV9. They're going to be impossible. You're not going to want to try to run in, especially if you keep these guard pieces around. I don't think it's terrible to have AV8 on them, especially because one of the runners should be protected at almost all times. You can almost take one of these runners off when it's your opponent's time if you want to. But I think this is a very scary team. If he gets AV busted, that's fine. Everyone else in the division is 8 or 7, it feels like, so I'm not too worried. And this is probably going to be my most controversial pick out of anybody here. My last coach for Americas is B. Hagen and his High Elf team. I mentioned I'm very, very high on B. Hagen earlier. This team can explode in a game. We talked about half his team is a touchdown away from leveling. He brings a lot of pieces that coaches in this division are going to struggle with. That's exactly what I expected to see, Kit. No Norse, right? I think Audrey's got some rebuilding to do. That was the other one that everyone, I think, expected me to pick, or expected me to pick Murdy. I really like B. Hagen's team because it brings a wrinkle no one else has in this division, which is AG4 and an AG5. Coaches aren't going to be able to build up as much tackle as you would see in other ones without getting caught. I could be totally wrong in this one, but from a pure development side of things, this team will catch fire at some point or will explode. It will just get crushed by everybody. But we shall see. That is what I have put out there, and I'll review it as we go. I'm sure, people like Audrey aren't going to be happy. Aim's not going to be happy. Murdy, as the dark horse, probably has rights to not be happy. I think he could be in that top 3 conversation very easily, but by week 3, we'll have a much better picture of how these leagues are going to shape up. That is all that I have for right now. My voice is rapidly dying. Good luck to everyone starting minors. The only one in for everyone is mixed division. Halo should be confirming with Americas. If anyone has meat around, hit meetup. I think Shad already has, but we want to try to get everyone in so we can get that scheduling post up, which is already going to be a day late, and then we can move forward to actual games. I believe Swamp Miss said he was going to be. Am I casting a game this week? Let me give it. Swamp said he's going to be casting a little bit after this. He's going to be doing some Total War and talking about minors and clans. So if you do want to hop over and catch Swamp, he'll be doing some stuff. I might cast a game this week if there are games up and running and posted. If you are interested in having a game cast, I have done a little bit of work on a side Discord. This is where we check, essentially. Okay? So you would go sign up your game. We check the upcoming games and we'll go and snag them. So when you hit upcoming games, it'll show everything and we can actually hit stream. Like, I want to stream this one. It gives us a nice menu so we can claim them, and it lets us know when games are going on so we don't have to chase you. How do you get your game there? Great question, everybody. You go to your account, you go to match, and it will list out a match here. I don't have a good screenshot because I'm not in any active matches right now. You would basically put in when in your time, I believe it is, the game is, hit save. It'll pop it up and we can go and actually check it out. So if you do want your game cast, I would love to cast some. I know a bunch of people who are out in casting and like to pick up games and they enjoy doing this for their free time. Please let us know when you are playing. I don't think anything here is important. Okay, I was like, am I like doxing myself here? No. So if you're interested there, I would love to cast a game or two. I would love to get some stuff set up. Swamp's going to be casting. I know we had half a dozen people at least in one of my Discords that was all about casting recently. Lostra, who I think Lostra said he's going to be actually in main league a bit more. I think Hubster has volunteered to be a co-recapper. Galstos, I think, said he wanted to focus a little bit on the college league. But if you're looking, let us know. There are more than enough people out there. And with only about 30 teams, so 15 games a week, I can cover significantly more than I had been covering. So I'm happy to cast more and more games. 60 teams, so 30 games a week was a bit rough for me, and I think I could usually get like 5 or 6. But with only 15 games, I can cover about a third of the league myself if we need to. I'll cast my games, of course, so we won't need casters. You're welcome to cast my games if you want to. I don't mind. I just put them on stream and kind of bullshit and play copyrighted music, which I can't do for my recaps and stuff. But yeah, make sure you accept your tickets if you haven't for Halo and Meet. Good luck. I will see you all around. And let me see if there is anybody out there doing some streaming right now. Sorry for blinding everybody. I need to get dark mode on that or a little bit incognito. We'll see if we can raid somebody real quick, just as a, hey, how you doing? We're back to Blood Bowl. And if you disagree with me or any of my picks, feel free to let me know why. I'll probably laugh at you, but that's okay. Yeah, thanks everybody. As we check for streams, my Twitch is very, very slow right now for some reason. There's Rick, but we all know Rick Reckless.
We got him out of rerolls, guys.
Ooh. Rebel Season 13. Let's go and send him a little bit of love. Okay, where's my chat here? Send all comments to Dimmy with Baby Shark. That's right. Everyone, yeah, send all your complaints to Dimmy with a Baby Shark remit. Chab XXU. All right, I think that's it.
Au revoir.
Wonderful scatter here. Captain Rand hosting rating as well. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, that's good. This guy up.